Hai, Anda menyaksikan Sedang Viral bersama saya Gracia Bern. Teman-teman Liputan 6, Anda pernah membayangkan dunia dan Indonesia salah satunya saat ini sedang aktif-aktifnya menggunakan jasa AI dalam segala aspek kehidupan sehari-hari. Nah, penggunaan AI dan pusat data global kemudian berpotensi meningkatkan tekanan terhadap jaringan listrik. Nah, yang menjadi pertanyaan kita bersama, apakah teknologi yang digadang-gadang sebagai solusi cepat bagi manusia saat ini justru memperbesar masalah konsumsi energi? Kira-kira apa dampaknya yang bisa dirasakan oleh Indonesia dan perlukah Indonesia waspada mengenai hal ini? Ini akan kita bahas hari ini. So the explosions of AI use and global data centers has increased pressure on power grids, creating a paradox in which solutions-driven technology actually worsens the problem of energy consumption. So we have the technology and energy industry expert today, Kevin O'Donovan, joining me now. Great to have you, Kevin. Thank you very much for joining Liputan on SCTV today. Well, Mr. Kevin, we would like to know more about your thought and observations on how does the rapid growth of AI and global data centers affect total digital energy consumptions worldwide?
Hi there. It is certainly a challenge and an opportunity. Here at ADIPEC, we heard yesterday on the phenomenal growth of AI and the opportunity it brings, and we'll get into that later. But the fact of the matter is that to build new AI data centers requires a lot of energy. You know, we hear people talking about like a gigawatt data center. To put that in perspective for folks, we're basically building probably 50% more data centers around the world in the next 5 years compared to what we have today. And that, depending on the country, depending on the energy that a country has, that puts serious challenges on, well, where do I get that energy from? Where do I get new energy? But if I may, it's not just the data centers, manufacturing, more people moving into cities, electric cars. We're going to need a lot more electric energy in the next 10, 15 years.
Okay, let's move on to another topic. Let's say, for example, we've heard lately Google turns to nuclear energy for AI electricity demand. How the frequent use of AI can drain energy supply? What do you think about it?
Well, so I suppose people would be familiar with AI, and in
Mm-hmm.
industry, people have been using AI for 20, 30 years. But obviously, everybody all of us out there, once ChatGPT and others arrived, we're all starting to use it and go, this is whatever. So for an
Okay.
AI, you need to train the big, large model. And to train a large model, you need a massive amount of data in a data center, and it trundles its way through all the data, and it creates the model that you then use on your phone or whatever, or in industry. So you need to train the models first. So you need to build a big data center. And these are new data centers because they're using new chips from the likes of NVIDIA, Intel, Qualcomm, and others. So once you've
Mm-hmm.
trained the model, then you can start to use it on your applications like we have on smartphones, or using it in industry and that all requires compute power, which requires energy. But if we don't train the models, then we don't get models that will help us be more efficient in how we manage the grid. Or we don't get new models that might give us a new battery technology, a new chemistry to make a better battery chemicals. So that's kind of where the chicken and egg comes in, if I may.
Okay. I think it's very interesting to know more about how these AI can help people and improve efficiency. So I heard some statements from colleagues and from people who use that. Why does the paradox emerge where AI, expected to improve efficiency, may instead increase the overall energy burden? What do you think about it?
So if you look at, people will be familiar with, let's say, the grids that bring the electricity to our homes, to our factories, the big transmission lines from power plants to cities, and then the
Mhm.
distribution grid that runs the wires around in your city. They've been working with whatever 100 years, but in many cases they may not be the most efficient. There's energy losses on lines. There's overcapacity on some lines. Some of them are basically gridlocked. There's too much power trying to go through. So once we start getting better models about how we know the electricity is going to be used in a particular city, in a particular part of the city, depending on the weather conditions, it's going to be very hot tomorrow. We need more air conditioning. Today, a lot of that is done by people who have knowledge because they've been working in those systems, and they kind of set up the profiles and the setup, the grid. With
Uh,
AI, the ability to just be able to do that almost autonomously and with much better, you know the big picture, and it can go off and say, well, hang on a second now, this is going on over here. We have this weather front moving in from over here. Here's how we will manage the grid more efficiently. So net is that we would reduce the amount of energy we need for these peak loads. So it does things just faster than humans than we can compute.
So when you look at what's going on out there, when you look to the future, I'm talking right now about the victims of digital energy. Are developing countries like Indonesia at risk of becoming the digital energy victims due to the global data center expansion?
Unfortunately, every country, I live in Western Europe, we have the same challenge. So whether you're a developing country, Western country, whatever country, if you look back 5 years and you ask me somebody or someone like me 5 years ago, how much energy will we need in the world? We had all of our spreadsheets. Nobody factored in the need for AI data centers. And a lot of it comes back to a country and their sovereignty. So if you want to have your own sovereignty in terms of your language models, you want to be able to provide it to your citizens. In today's world, unfortunately, sometimes we can't always depend on our friendly neighbors because friends change. So it's kind of a national sovereignty thing that we need to build in our own language, with our own healthcare data, with our own energy system data, because that could be very sensitive data for national security, energy resilience. So every country is now scrambling, going, hang on a second, we need to build a new mega data center. 1, 2, 3. We need another, whatever, 5, 10 gigawatts of electricity over the next 10 years. And to put that in perspective, like that's charging, I don't know, 1 million, 2 million electric vehicles. But if I may, so while we need all of that and countries need to figure out, well, how much energy do we have? What's coming online? Do we need nuclear? Have we got small modular reactors coming? What have we got? Can we build more gas power plants? Can we more solar, more wind? We also have to factor in, I mentioned earlier, and it was a big topic here yesterday from Dr. Jabbar, we have more people moving to cities. We'll need more air conditioning. We have more electric vehicles. And everything I do in around the energy industry, everybody is also looking at bringing more manufacturing to their countries. That's all being done by, let's say, autonomous factories or a lot of automated. It's all electric. It's all robots. That needs a lot of power as well. So I don't know the answer. Every country has to kind of go, hang on a second, how much have we got and what will we use it for? And that is a challenge because we don't have abundant free energy around the world. So I think that's the debate that politicians and policymakers will have to have in every country. What are we going to use our energy for? And that's a tough question.
Yeah. This one is quite a tricky part, I guess. As many people say, technology itself is a bit, but not with putting out with people in terms of advocacy and policy, as you say. Do you think what regulations govern energy use for data centers to ensure public supply is not compromised?
It is a huge challenge. The folks that know me, I read a lot of history in my spare time, ancient history, medieval history. I suppose the challenge, technology, I normally say, is the easy bit. It's us humans, and I don't care what country, race, religion, creed, whatever you are. We humans sometimes make some interesting decisions. If we all played nice, we could obviously coordinate things a lot easier. But certainly regulation, policy, I suppose people need to step back. Dr. Jabbar yesterday made a great point. He said, look, we need to stop focusing on the noise of today and keep an eye on a focus on where we're headed in 5, 10 years' time. Now, that's easy to say, but I hope for some rational policy decisions and not just knee-jerk reactions from people. But, I'm an optimist. I believe in human nature. We kind of muddle our way through things. I think AI, seen technology have such an impact so fast, and we're still only scratching the surface in our daily lives, in industry and manufacturing, in the energy sector. So we need the latest and greatest AI model to give us those step changes in energy efficiency, new materials. So it really is a chicken or an egg, but it's going to be an interesting 5, 10 years.
Talk about the innovations of AI? Do you think that there will be innovations in algorithm design or AI architecture could significantly reduce energy consumption?
It can,
Uh,
and I suppose if I
mm,
may, I'll take it from two angles. Obviously, you're building a data center today for AI. You need the silicon chips, you need the power conversion units that go with it, the air conditioning, and. So if you
mhm.
look at what NVIDIA, uh, Intel, Qualcomm, AMD, everyone else making silicon chips, they're continuously trying to get the silicon chip to do more using less energy. So that's going to continue. You have people like Infineon Technologies bringing out silicon carbide
Mhm.
power electronics, so that reduces the amount of power losses. You have better air conditioning using different technologies, yada, yada. They're all going to obviously have an impact. Now, it's not going to be, we're going to reduce the amount of energy in a data center by 50%. You're talking 5%, 10%, whatever. But if we look at what we've even seen in the last 18 months around AI algorithms,
Okay.
every
Um,
every if I may, if you saw what DeepSeek did in coming out of China, they completely changed the way we did inference, and that brought down the energy costs dramatically. So there's an awful lot of unknowns out there, but I believe that we'll get a lot more efficient. Sorry.
Well, thank you very much, Kevin, for your times. It's my honor to talk to you today. Actually, I have a lot of questions, but our time is limited. Dan itu tadi wawancara kami bersama dengan Kevin O'Donovan, Technology and Energy Industry Expert, yang sudah menyampaikan apa yang menjadi tantangan, hambatan, dan bagaimana mengatur agar AI ini yang membutuhkan banyak pasokan energi bisa terakomodasi dengan baik. Ini memang menjadi tantangan bukan hanya bagi Indonesia, tapi juga seluruh dunia. Bagaimana energi yang dibutuhkan oleh penggunaan AI ini berpotensi melonjak dan memberikan banyak dampak dari segala aspek, baik itu lingkungan, kemasyarakatan, sosial, dan juga energi tentunya. Arah revolusi sudah tidak terelakkan. AI bukan hanya alat bantu teknis, melainkan mitra strategis dalam membangun sistem energi yang cerdas, resilient, dan hijau. Tentu dengan bantuan AI kita melangkah dari dunia energi yang reaktif menuju dunia yang prediktif, di mana keputusan dibuat bukan saat krisis itu datang, tetapi jauh sebelum itu. Dan dalam era ini, AI dan pasokan energi bukan hanya tersedia, namun ia dioptimalkan. Sekian wawancara kami kali ini. Jangan lupa saksikan wawancara kami dengan topik-topik menariknya di Liputan 6 SCTV. Saya Gracia, sampai jumpa.